to the Empire Blueprint official podcast where fitness coaches come to prosper. This is I am LB Health, the co-owner, and this is Mr. Brandon Clark himself, the founder of Empire Blueprint. So today we're going to actually be talking about personal trainers transitioning to online coaching and how you can do that properly. And I mean, Brandon's literally done it himself, actually. So, Brandon, without further ado,
hmm
if you want to start off, what is the biggest pain point you think personal trainers nowadays have?
Yeah. Well, happy New Year, Dylan. This is the perfect time to be talking about this. We're going into 2026, and it's been weighing heavy on my mind. What exactly I want this next year to look like, and reflecting back over what the past 5 years has looked like, it's been an absolute roller coaster. I went from quitting my 9 to 5 job, working as a technician in a manufacturing company with fluorescent lighting, trapped in a warehouse with a singular window in the entire building, to deciding, hey, I'm going to quit this. I'm going to pursue fitness. And what that looked like first was just getting into the gym more and trying to find clients to work with for hour-long sessions. Like, that was my goal when I first started out. I had got my personal training certification, so I was able to work at like a commercial gym, and I was also able to find a gym where they only charged me like $8 for a session. And I think that's really, really important. Like, if you are somebody that's going into trying to become a personal trainer, trying to make money off of fitness at the very beginning, it's important to find a local gym with an owner who is very lax, and he will charge you a very, very minimal amount and allow you to charge whatever you want. So then you can actually practice being an entrepreneur. So then you're not just going from a 9 to 5, working as a technician, to a job where you're working even worse hours, but you happen to be in the gym, but the gym is also taking like 65% of the profit that's being made, and you still have to sell. The beauty of being an entrepreneur is the fact that you get to create your own product. You should be able to create your own pricing. You should be able to create your own timeline. You should be able to create your own schedule, while at the same time, like,
Also, locational freedom.
benefiting from all those things. And then on top of that, if you are able to eventually transition online, you get all of that times 10. But when I first started out, it was very important that I found that specific situation where I could be profitable and I could practice being an entrepreneur while working at an in-person training job. So not at like a Crunch Fitness or like a commercial gym. But I mean, have you ever been in the gym for like a full day, Dylan? Like, have you ever been in the gym for like 5 to 8 hours straight?
No, that sounds like torture.
It is torture. Like, and that's what's so sad about it, is the fact that so many personal trainers have so much passion for fitness, but then they spend a consecutive 5 hours, 7 hours, 8 hours, 10 hours in a gym environment trying to have conversations with 10 different people and keep up small talk while they're walking them through exercises. Being in the gym will quickly become the worst part of your day.
Well,
Like, it'll
actually,
quickly feel terrible.
I think that's a great thing you said, though, because I think someone that has the in person experience has the discipline that a lot of people don't have because they think online coaching is just like get rich quick, super easy, and all these things. But at the end of the day, you ask about people's calories, their meal plans, their macros, their form checks, check ins every day for 8 hours a day. It's just virtual rather than in person. It's way more scalable because you can do more
Mhm.
clients, but you still have to have a burning passion for fitness. You still have to understand fitness. You still have to do all those things. The difference is it's so much more scalable when you go online and you're also doing your own business. You're not giving 60-40 splits to the gym, not yourself. You're also being the marketer. People are coming to you if you're doing things properly. I couldn't imagine. How long were you doing that for?
I was doing that for about a year and a half to 2 years.
Did you have any transferable skills that would help anyone out when they're first transferring over to online?
Oh, that's a great question. I guess just, I mean, communication, like being able to put yourself out there. I think that what you said is really important because it is true that once you develop that, like, in person trainers tend to have a more seamless transition to making a lot of money online because they've already practiced the sales, they've already practiced putting themselves out there, and now it's just about selling a different product. But I mean, most of the time, like, there's not a whole lot besides the grit that you get. Like the grit that you get from having to show up every single day, being still locked down to one specific location every single day from a certain time to a certain time. Like I said, it does eventually kind of become torture, but I don't think there's many other skills besides understanding kind of how how mechanics work a little bit more, and like understanding physiology and how to coach somebody through like training harder, or like different cues that you can use in order to change how people are doing exercises. Besides that, there's really not a whole lot.
Well, the thing is, that's unfortunate. Like you mentioned, cues for lifting. That doesn't do well on social media. It just
Yeah.
does not. No one
Yeah.
cares about cues and the nuance of
Mhm.
lifting, and it doesn't
Yeah.
really get a good ICA, especially if you only talk about the gym itself, which
Yeah.
is just
So
an
it's only
unfortunate truth.
once you're the coach and you've got
Yeah,
the clients that it
yeah. I
becomes
will say
useful.
though, you'll understand pain points and be able to actually talk to clients. I feel like a lot better than most people
That's
have
a good
ever done it
point.
before. But also the pain points on social media, because you can say the authority hook of I've been in the gym for 10 years straight training people, and this is the number one thing I see constantly. So those
Mhm.
hooks could actually do extremely well. I think the discipline of like you said a story where you always say this story when we onboard people where someone that goes to the gym at 5 a.m. they clock out at 9 p.m. Yeah, they might be making six figures, but their whole life is inside that gym, and you're stuck at that 100K. There's no scalability beyond that, and if you get injured or if you get sick, you're basically screwed.
Yep. That is exactly how it goes. The personal training becomes becomes a rat race that is annoying. Oftentimes you're kind of at the whim of the person who you're coaching. Like if they need to go to work at 7:30, then you're up at 5 o'clock taking them through a workout. If they don't get off work till 7 o'clock, you're at the gym like training them at 8 o'clock, and that's how I would spend my mornings, that's how I'd spend my nights, and it's just brutal because you don't get to create your own schedule. But like I said, it does give you that grit that really pushes people, and it also gives you that in-person element where you can understand people's pain points really well. You can use that in content. But then I feel like it's also helpful because a lot of people have been desensitized to in person conversations. And as time has gone on and we're using our phones and we're communicating through social media and over text so much, it is very nice to have your physical client like right in front of you, and like you can say something that directly changes their day or changes how they're performing something, how they're thinking about something, what they're doing. And so to be able to have those physical people right in front of you when you're saying like, hey, this is the person that I'm trying to help, it gives you a better understanding of the value that you actually have to offer. Because I think a lot of fitness coaches, when they just jump straight into online, they don't truly understand how valuable their service is, just simply because they don't see it directly manifesting into somebody's life as they are giving that value, if that makes sense. But that's also a double edged sword because one of the biggest problems that personal trainers have is valuing their online product appropriately after they've been doing years of in person, because they're like, oh, I've been charging $100 per hour, which is expensive. Like quite a few people, it's difficult to pay $100 an hour, 3 times a week. Like that's a lot of money. You'd have to find somebody that's pretty well off to do that. But they're like, I've been charging this hourly rate and I've been directly tied to making this amount of money every single hour. But now I'm going online where I feel like there's almost less value because I'm stepping away from this in-person element and I can't see the person directly. They're not physically in front of me. So I almost feel like I'm providing less value, but at the same time, I need to be charging more in order to make it more scalable. But in reality, as you and I both know, and what I have found very much to be true is that online coaching, like taking somebody through my program online, monumentally better, monumentally different, gets way better results, and it's way more practical for the person. And so it should be valued at a higher price. But a lot of personal trainers that start off in person, they don't understand that.
Yeah, there's one thing that I've noticed, and correct me if I'm wrong, but personal trainers that transition online tend to kind of hold an ego, I've seen, compared
Hmm.
to someone that hasn't done it before, where they think, I've trained all these clients, why aren't people watching my videos? And they kind of give up
Hmm.
early because they don't get the viewership that they want or they think they deserve because they have
That's a
this
good point.
knowledge and this expertise. And they give up super quick. And it's the most frustrating thing on earth because, Brandon, how long have you been posting?
I've been posting for about 6 years now, 6.5.
Yeah, if you go to his YouTube channel, you see like 1,000 uploads or something crazy.
Hmm.
Granted, I was doing social media for around 5 years as well, but I went to be a pilot and I started my account. I think we're approaching like 18 months now. And I've been able to accumulate 200 something thousand followers, 100K a month business, similar to Brandon. But that's because I've learned the principles. I guarantee if Brandon lost his Instagram, he could start from scratch and get 100K followers in 6 months, just like I did. So there's a way to do it. It's not just all luck. But I see a lot of people get deterred and they think they're going to get the success because they have knowledge. But the sad truth is, the best marketer and the best closer, or the best salesman, I should say, is going to get the most clients, not the most
Hmm.
educated. So it should be your purpose to try to get as many clients as you can because you know you're the right person. There's people on the internet that think carbs are making you fat. They think, oh, you have to do intermittent fasting because you're insulin. You have to do this because of that. Your mission should be to help more people because of the fact that there's so many bad people on the internet that just make it seem really easy and super simple and all these things. If you just follow one thing, if you cut carbs, you'll lose all the fat in the world and all those things. So when you're first starting out, don't get deterred. Start posting and expect nothing. Have super low expectations. Expect absolutely nothing at all. I
Yeah,
think that's the best way to see it.
that's the best dynamic, the best frame that you have to enter into with social media. Because, like you said, if you go into social media expecting something out of it, saying, hey, like I deserve this right off the bat, you're going to fail. 100% you're going to fail because the first thing that's going to happen is you're going to post a video that you think should have done better and it's not going to do very well. I do it every single day. Every single day, I post a good video and I'm
What
like,
happened today?
oh, it didn't get very many views. And then I post a terrible video that took me 2 seconds to make. And it's like, oh my gosh, it got all of the views. So you are going to be humbled very, very quickly. You're also going to understand that you like getting like social media is a skill and you need to get good at it. But at the same time, there are fundamental principles that you can learn that are going to make you so much more successful with it. And that's really, really powerful. And that's kind of what we teach inside of Empire Blueprint. But the ego is there for sure. So if you are a personal trainer, you need to make sure that you dissolve that and you say, hey, like I'm in this for the long run. Because what people that are they're essentially working a 9 to 5 job when you are a very successful in-person trainer because you have all these regular clients that are coming in. And so things start to feel a lot easier, and then switching to something that's so unknown and understanding, hey, I've worked with all these other people, like why isn't this working for me? It's like because you haven't established the value online that you have established over years of working in person. Like you've literally worked in person for years, and now you have to create a different product and you have to start building value and credibility with a whole different group of people. So yeah, it's a different ball game.
Yeah, you always say conquer your location when you're first starting out because that's what you did
Hmm.
really well. I went
Yeah.
straight online immediately. Granted, I was coaching before I made this new account as well. I didn't start from scratch like coaching. So I knew the structure, I knew how to coach and all those things. And I've dealt with a lot of clients, so it's not complete from scratch. I don't want anyone to think that. But you always say to conquer your local area because you still actually get quite a bit of people locally, right?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, conquer your local area. Everybody in your town, everybody in your area, everybody that knows your name should know exactly what you do. And you should try to be known as the fitness guy. You should try to be known as the nutrition guy, the guy who people are going to go to for advice. I mean, just in the past, 30 days, I've had like $15,000 worth of referrals from just people in my town, from a guy that I met at the gym. Like, it's very, very powerful. Very, very powerful. So you have to, or I would really recommend that people do start out with that. It's just a very, very easy way to kind of practice putting yourself out there, practice getting uncomfortable. And even if you sell just an online product, like you don't need to do that for in person. Even if you just sell an online product, everybody should know exactly what you do, what you offer. And if they know anybody that they can send your way that needs your service, please do it. Thank you very much. And it almost gives people this want to support like a local business, like almost want to support a local like celebrity. That's kind of how it does feel once you sort of conquer the space. Like I had a guy come up to me last night when we were out for New Year's, and he was like, dude, he's like, do you remember me? And I looked at him. I didn't even recognize him at first because I was like, I have no idea who this guy is, but he's like super, super friendly. And he says, you would work out next to me every single day, like for 2 years straight back when you first started lifting. And I was like, no way. And he's like, yeah, I used to have super, super long hair. He's like, do you remember me now? And I was like, oh my gosh, I do remember you. And him and this other guy, we would all be in the gym at the same time, like we would be working out. And he was like, it's so cool to see how you've created this business and you're doing exactly what you love. Because back in the day, he's like, I would be in the gym and I'm like, this kid's killing it. This kid's going to make it. He's working out every single day. And so you get those people in your community that are like rooting for you and that even send you referrals. And that's really powerful. You're going to get hate from people in your community as well. But I mean, if you're not getting publicity in general, then you'll get no hate. And so that's just a sign that you're doing something right.
Yeah, I will say there's a little difference. I grew up in San Diego and like not a small town at all. So to conquer my area, I don't think it's actually possible because
I
there's
think
so
Cody Dial has done a pretty good job at conquering the San
he's a
Diego area.
hyper specific niche though. He
It's
does
true. It's true.
bodybuilding prep for people on gear. So he's very specific. So that's why he does so well. Like, dude, my gym alone had over 100 influencers I went to with over 200K followers, and they all do quite well for themselves. So it'd be
Yeah.
impossible because, granted, I went to more of like a social media gym to help film,
Yeah,
but
I think that that's the difference is like I think you just have to escape that because people don't talk about that when you're first getting started is the fact that people immediately involve themselves with other people that are doing exactly what they're doing. And that's why people price their coaching. That's why people value their coaching so little, is because they look around and they think, oh, there's 100 other people out here that are doing what I'm doing. They're doing something similar, or they could do what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? And it's the same when you go on social media and all of a sudden you're watching all of this fitness content. You're like, why should I charge $2,000, $3,000 for my fitness coaching when Johnny over here, he has more followers than me and he's only charging $150 per month? You know what I'm saying? And so when people don't get out of that, and that's the key is you need to break into the normal people. And that's what we always teach people inside Empire Blueprint, how to find your ICA is like, don't go towards the fitness industry. Don't go towards posting what like Alex Eubank is posting to like try to get all of these younger fitness influencer, like young LA kids. Like that's not what you're looking for. You're looking to target the normal people, which is why it's so helpful for you, Dylan, to wave around your 5 pounds of fat little blob like back and forth in your videos, because it helps people establish like, oh, this guy's a fat loss coach. Like that's what 5 pounds of fat looks like. Oh, wow. Interesting. And when you talk about these very basic rudimentary things that we would call basic and rudimentary, like, hey, carbs aren't making you fat. Hey, insulin is not the reason why you're obese. Like, when you're talking about these basic level things that we understand to be true, our ICA doesn't understand those things. Like I have multiple clients I onboard every single month that they don't even know like how to track calories or macros, and they're
If they
like,
ever
I've never
even
tracked
tried.
calories, macros
Yeah.
ever. Like,
I
yeah.
think a good rule of thumb is what your family talks about at the holidays when you're eating food. Oh, you eat all that, you can eat carbs, things like that. Those are the topics you should be talking about because I catch myself in an echo chamber sometimes where my stuff gets too nuanced and my engagement's
Mhm.
horrible. And I'm like, what am I doing wrong? This is a good video, this is a good topic. And then I start looking around and I start looking at content that's genuinely for the wider scope of people, or I'll even ask friends or people that are not really into the fitness space, and it helps me stay grounded and understand topics that are actually being spoken about. Because
100%.
just talking to other influencers and other coaches, holy cow. If I just talked to TNF all day, I couldn't make a single video that got me a lead. I would get only
100%.
I would only get other coaches to follow me. Because at the end
Yep.
of the day, you don't want other coaches to follow you. You want clients. You want people that actually buy your coaching. You want customers to follow you. And before anyone comments anything, do not start a new Instagram. Just calling you out. If you're taking notes on this video right now, don't start a new Instagram. I know it's going through your head. Everyone and their mom says, should I start a new Instagram? No, you can delete all your posts if it's bad post. Your friends and family are going to find out about your Instagram either way. They're going to hate you either way or love you either way. So why start from scratch? I started from zero and it is hard. It is so hard to start from zero. If you have 100 followers, that is better than zero. 0 followers, you're posting to the void. You're just kind of doing a personal journal at that point. It sucks.
Yeah. And how important are those conversations that you're having? Like, I notice for my content, all of my content stems from conversations with my clients. That's the best one that you can do. But if you don't have clients, conversating with your family members, with the other like normal people who believe these these nutrition myths. Like my dad is super into keto right now. Like super into keto. He swears it's the best thing ever. Every single time I go over to the house, he's like trying to tell me why carbs are poisoning me. And it's like, I can conversate with my dad and get video ideas to talk about because he's part of the population that is going down this like YouTube rabbit hole of watching, Dr. What's that guy's name? Yeah, Dr. Eric Berg and like all these YouTube videos where they're just spewing garbage. Like they're spewing misinformation, and the more that you target those people, the more you actually get, the people that are qualified
Yeah,
that are
I will
actually going to be
say
able to
when you're
buy
first
it.
starting out, you made a great point. You named a name, Dr. Eric Berg. Naming a name or having a common enemy. So when you're first starting out, especially when you're transitioning into the online space,
Mhm.
doesn't matter if you actually have a personal issue with this person. It's better if you actually have a personal issue with this content, but have a enemy. Everyone nowadays, there's this psychology thing that people like to band behind a common enemy. It's not the purpose that you have or your goal at the end of the day. It's literally who your enemy is. Look at politics. Everyone has an enemy. They hate Republicans or they hate liberals,
Mhm.
anything like that. So if you have a common enemy, which I actually have Dr. Eric Berg as one of my common enemies
Mhm.
constantly. So it's funny you bring that up. It's like kind of keto and all those things. Jacob
Yep.
Foods within Empire Blueprint, it's Paul Saladino and seed oils.
Yep.
It's a common enemy.
Uh-huh.
It's a hill to die on. And it's incredible to do when you first start out. So if you're starting out, go against Weight Watchers, go against keto, make it your ride or die because that is controversial. You're gonna get a lot of hate, be understanding that, but that's good. It's gonna get engagement and it's gonna get people to think, wait, there's another way besides keto? Is this guy being serious? And that's when you start getting people to ask you questions and people are
Mhm.
interested. People are going to start following you rather than generic 3 steps to lose fat. I'm sorry, that's not how you start out. You're not going to get any followers, any views, or anything when you first start out. You have to be polarizing. You have to get views. And unfortunately, you have to have a common enemy or a hill to die on. In Empire Blueprint, I always say in my lesson, did anyone come up with any hills this week? Granted, some have horrible hills. Some people,
Yeah.
their hill is
They picked something really bad that's not going to target their ICA, and it's like, how did you even come up with that? Like, it's so bad.
it's something that they talk about with their friends. Like
Yeah.
someone, not gonna name names, but someone's was reps in reserve. That is getting the worst audience. That's who get
Yeah.
powerlifters and people that know what reps and reserves are. Most people don't
Uh,
know what reps and reserve is. RIR.
yep.
That's insane. So when you're doing a hill to die on, keep it basic, rudimentary. I get a lot of clients from Weight Watchers. I get a lot of clients from keto, get a lot of clients from carnivore. I'm very nutrition focused. And that's actually
Mhm.
one I wanted to kind of leave on the last topic. So we're kind of all over the place. For social media, a lot of people think there's one way to do everything. If you just look at Brandon and I's personal brands, so different, yet we get the same result, similar result. And it is so different. I use camera quality in every video. I try to keep it hyper professional. I talk about nutrition nonstop. Brandon
Mhm.
talks about whatever Brandon is convicted about, whatever Brandon is feeling that day, and he gets leads. He gets clients. He has an extremely specific person he works with. I'm pretty broad. I just work with fat loss. Around right now, I have 70% female clients, 30% male clients. Brandon, you are a whopping 100% male.
Yeah, 98% male.
And his content isn't really just focused on fitness. And I think a lot of people get shocked by that because they look at one creator and think this is the only way to do it. And that's why me and Brandon, I think, are such good partners because we have such different approaches to social media, yet they both work. It's the principles
Very.
behind social media. It's not one fits all solution because a lot of people just copy my format and they expect it to work extremely well.
Mhm.
I was the first to do it. And I'm already trying to find new ways to stop doing it because it's super easy to copy versus
Yeah.
Brandon. No one can copy Brandon. No one can.
That's a good point. That's a really good point. And yeah, I think that finding your individual, coaching personality is very, very important in your demographic. And we also do run very, very different businesses. Like yours is headed in this direction where it's more of like a fat loss corporation, like that's going to help, pretty much everybody. I'm headed in this more niche direction of like men that are really looking to like self improve, who want access to, me personally. And I think that that's cool because it does give this sort of multi-level approach, and there is no exact path to like, oh yeah, this is the exact kind of fitness coach that you should become. But you can branch out, you can do different things, you can innovate, you can be different. Your fitness coaching business doesn't have to look exactly like somebody else's fitness coaching business. But I think that one thing that most people struggle with is when they aren't seeing results, they start to think that something isn't working when they just haven't given it enough time in order to let it unfold. You know what I'm saying? Because like how many times does it happen in Empire Blueprint where somebody comes to us and they say, "Hey, I posted this video and it got 200,000 views, but it didn't get me any clients." And it's like, dude, that's your first 200,000 view video. Like they just saw your face. They're going to need to see your face
10 more times.
100 more times before they're interested in coaching, and you're going to have to make content that is ultimately selling them. Like all the content that we make is selling people on who we are as a person, selling them on our message, which ultimately is going to lead them into our funnel. It's like you can't hyper analyze based off of the direct results that are coming in. And that's what makes it kind of difficult. And I think that's why Empire Blueprint is so important for people, is because it gives them that foundational level. Hey, this is what you should be doing. And if you're headed in this direction, things are going to start to work, because so many people get in and they don't understand who their ICA is. So many people come in and they don't even understand that they need to target somebody that actually has the money to pay. Like that hasn't even registered. I mean, the amount of people that join and they're like, "Oh yeah, I want to target like like kids that are playing sports." And it's like, "Dude, have you thought through this for a second? Like you're
What
going to
are
be
people that are
hopping on
trying to
calls with
gain muscle?
16-year-olds?" Yeah, it's like, no, 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 no. It's like you need to sit down and think about what your business is actually going to look like. And that's what's so incredibly important. And I wish that I understood that earlier, because I used to target a very young demographic, and even to this day, I would describe myself as kind of a fitness influencer and a fitness coach. Like I kind of do both at the same time a little bit. And like if I wanted to optimize my fitness coaching to make as much money as I possibly could, I would probably do things differently. But at the same time, I'm building up
Long
a
game.
sort of brand that is not just based around the fitness coaching business. And ultimately, what I want to start to do is just monetize access to me. You know what I'm saying? As much as possible, not even necessarily the workout programs that I put together. That's kind of how I see the future going. But
Yeah, more of like a life consultant.
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
more life focused.
I mean, I do consulting on the side as well for life
Mhm.
coaching, so it's a good little niche to have.
Yeah. I mean, talking about fitness all day, it does start to get everything starts to get boring, guys. Like everything starts to get old, everything starts to get dry. You know, if you're an in-person trainer, you're going to get sick of doing in-person sessions. That's going to get old. You're going to kind of want something new and spicy, but always remember this. Like a basketball player has played that exact same sport his entire life. And he plays that exact same sport every single night. He plays it dozens of times every single month. He plays basketball over and over and over and over and over again. And that's what you have to do as a fitness coach and as somebody that's building a brand. So you have to stick with the basics of what really, really works. And you have to know what actually works. You have to stay consistent. You have to have a community that's also going to hold you accountable to that. Because I mean, Dylan and I understand that like Headspace is the biggest determining factor of whether or not you're going to succeed. I mean, the amount of people that fall off just because something bad happens in their life, it's crazy. Like the drop off rate's
Couldn't agree
insane.
more.
Even the drop off rate of personal trainers, like I think it's like only 90% make it longer than like a year or 2 years because
90%?
90% drop off after 1 or 2 years because it gets old. People are like, okay, I thought that this was going to be fun, but now it's not very much fun anymore. You're always going to make something mundane, no matter how spontaneous and crazy it may seem. You know, you know who Dan Bilzerian is? I always try to remember back to him, and I've listened to a couple podcasts that he's been on, and he talks about how this crazy lifestyle where he's surrounded by 30 of the prettiest women in the world with bikinis, flying private jets to random places, taking yacht rides, shooting guns at drones, like all of these different types of things that he was doing. That lifestyle got incredibly mundane for him because he was doing it for like 2 years on end. And at the end of the 2 years, he's like, I want nothing to do with this lifestyle anymore because it legitimately has become so boring. Like you listen to him
Yeah.
and he's like, I fucked like 3 of these different girls a day. He's like, which one do I want? He's like, at that point, he's like, it was just a job. He's like, these girls need to get fired. And I'm like, bro, that is crazy that every single thing that you do, you will make it mundane. So it's best to become as good as you possibly can at your craft and be known for something specific.
Yeah, I mean, to be fully frank, I love fitness and you love fitness, but it does get mundane doing check-ins.
Hmm.
Like it's
Yeah.
just a fact of the matter. I think of Mark Hormozy where he always says you're either gonna want to do it or you're either gonna do the action or wish you did the action. So just choose which
Hmm.
one you want. Either way, you're
Yep.
gonna suffer because either you're
Yep.
doing it and you're suffering because it kind of sucks in the moment, or it just sucks after because you didn't do it. So it's pick your suffrage. And most of the time, I would say me and you pick doing the action, but I mean, it happens. Like the past 2 weeks before, I think a couple days ago, I was in a little dry spill and not really creative and got out of my funk because I had to transition my business that I wasn't expecting. And now I'm back. But still, no one could even
Hmm.
tell on the outside. I still posted 3 times a day, all those things, just
Hmm.
wasn't as creative as before. We'll end it here. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed, got some knowledge out of this. Comment down below any topics you guys want. We're making these for you guys. Like and subscribe. This is going to be on the Empire page, right?
Hmm. Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Like and subscribe, and see you guys next time.
Have a good one.